Hi, sorry about the slight technical delay on starting today. I managed to put my phone into the stand and then promptly turn it off by putting the switches right where the connectors are for my phone stand, so that wasn't particularly clever. So, welcome to the first of my coffee and card updates. Basically what I'm planning to do, all being well, is to just run a Facebook Live every Monday afternoon showing you the coffee and card design that we made the previous week and the Monday morning, because I run 3 coffee and card sessions a week. That's Wednesday, Thursday and Monday. So once I finish Monday, my plan is to show you what we did. So that is the idea. So we'll see how it goes. I will just give it a go. So for the first couple, it'll probably be a little bit haphazard, for want of a better description. So we shall see. So I'm just checking on my PC. It doesn't actually say that we're live, which is slightly concerning. But hopefully we are. If anybody's there, perhaps they could comment and see. I can see somebody's watching, but it's probably just me. Okay. Alright, well, I shall get started anyway, and hopefully people will pop on as we go along, and obviously I'll leave this online in the Facebook page so that you can watch it at a later date. So the stamp set that we used this last week for coffee and card is this one here called Dear Doily, and it features obviously these 3 doily designs. Strangely, it also includes this flower. I'm not really quite sure why, but it's very useful because it does mean you can get sort of 2 uses out of the one stamp set. So that is particularly handy. And then, as well as just for you, it also has words can't express, and then it has a series of sentiments to go with it. So, just how much you mean to me, how much your kindness touches my life, and how very sorry I am for your loss. Hi Jill. So that's the stamp set that we used, and the sentiments that go with it. There is also a set of matching framelets, which we didn't use. We don't use those at Coffee and Card, mainly because it's a drop-in, relaxed card making session, no big tools required. But there is this Doily Builder thin knit die set that goes with it, and that consists of a die cut actually for the flower that you can see here, and plus some really pretty doily designs and a little bow. And you can see some of the samples in here. I know there's a little bit of glare and a little bit of shadow, I'm afraid. I had to put the lights on, it's so dark. But you can just see here some of the doilies that go with it. And then this card here, and if you can see, that has a background of where the doilies have been cut out of that looks like Mango Melody card. It could be Daffodil Delight or Crush Curry. And then there's another sample here of that rather nice outside doily design. So that is the stamp set that we're using. I'll move that out of the way, and I'll show you the cards that we made. So this one is a really easy card to recreate, because it's just stamping the doilies in whichever colours you have to hand, really. And you can make it quite feminine by using pinks, or you can make it more masculine by using blues, greys, blacks and the like, and browns. Let me show you some more. So here's one. Same sort of thing, but with Bermuda Bay and early espresso. And this is a mixed one with Bermuda Bay, grey granite and melon mambo. and then blues and grey, grey granite and 2 types of blue. So really pretty designs. So that's the first one that we're going to make. And then the second card we'll make will be one using the flowers. And for that one, we're going to be using our marker pens. So our Stampin' Right markers come like this. So they're double-ended. So they have a narrow tip and a wide tip. And you can use them for inking up of your stamps, as well as obviously writing with and colouring. They don't colour as well as the blends pens. They're not alcohol markers, so you wouldn't want to colour in a whole page, for example. But for small areas, they work perfectly. So I'll be talking about those. So very simply, we can just change the colours of these and change the backing to get quite a different look. So you can either vary it from looking like a lavender or any other plant, depending on the colours that you choose. So there's another one that's in Gorgeous Grape, and then this one here in Bermuda Bay, and that's been stamped off to make it lighter as well. So those are the 2 designs that we're going to make. As I say, the idea of Coffee and Card is that it's just a drop in, nice and social, and nice and relaxed, hopefully. So let's get to business. We're going to start with the doily stamp first. So I'm just using a piece of card that I'm going to pop on my note cards and envelopes. And the note card and envelope size is 3.5 by 5 inches. And so I've cut this to 3 by 4.5 because I want to put a border in between the card that we're stamping on here and the outside layer. So you can see there we've got a coloured layer of card. So I've chosen this to be 3 by 4.5. And I've just got 3 colours that I almost picked at random really. I've got Lemon Lime Twist, Grey Granite and Blueberry Bushel. And the inks I've chosen to go with these 3 stamps. I found with the samples that I did that 3 colours works perfectly, but there's nothing to say you couldn't have obviously more colours or less colours. So I'm going to use these 3 styles of doily, and I'm not particularly worried which way around I do the colours other than keeping them the same. I'm sorry about this little shadow here on the left hand side. I'll try and work on this side as much as I can. So all I do is I take the larger of the stamps, I'll just bring this ink pad over, light tapping, okay, and then I just check the stamp and see whether I've got it all coated, and you can see obviously I've missed a bit there. That's why it's important to move your block around on the ink pad, because if you've got an ink pad you've used a lot, you might find that they're a little bit patchy in places. So that looks nice and coated. And I'm just going to turn that over because I've got inky fingers already. Just make sure I've got the right size, which I have. So I'm just going to use 2 of these stamped images. So I've got one there, and I'm going to put another one up at the top. Let's move that one out of the way. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Okay, like so. So I love this detail that you can see here. Really fine detail. Now I'm going to take my next colour with the next size down. So I'm taking this size here, and I'm going to use the Grey Granite for this one. So all I'm going to do now is basically start filling in some of the gaps. Now it's up to you whether you have these overlapping or whether you have the images completely separate. It's entirely up to you, depending on the look that you want. I'm just going to have some of them overlapping, and I'm just going to pop those in there like so, and that one like that. And then I'm going to take my final, the small one with my final colour, and this is Lemon Lime Twist. I'm just going to ink that one up, just check it's inky. think it needs a bit more ink in that pad. There we go, so it is quite light, but it will do for my purpose. Okay, so you can overlap these as much as you want, and you can build up as much as you want. Just make sure you're going off the edge to get a really natural effect rather than just keeping within the border of the paper. So that's going to be our base design. And what we're going to do is mount that onto some card and add a sentiment. So the card I've chosen is the Lemon Lime Twist. I love this colour. And so although it's only very subtle, my Lemon Lime Twist here, I think that'll work nicely in there. I'm going to attach that in a second, but I'm going to do something first, which is stamp the image sentiment that I want. I'm going to use one of the sentiments that comes with the stamp set called Just For You. A great sentiment because you can use it for loads of different things. You can do for birthdays, celebrations, but also thinking of you, things like that. So I'm going to take the Just For You. I'm going to ink it in my blueberry bushel. Just make sure it's nicely inked up and just stamp it on there. Okay, nice crisp image. And then I'm going to punch that out using the 1 1/4 inch punch. Now you can see this is rather well used because it's really worn out, but it's a good standby to have. And I'm going to punch that one out. It just fits really nicely. Obviously you could go for a larger size punch if you want. Okay, so I've got my Just For You. And I am going to pop it onto this backing. And in order to match the backing, I'm going to punch out of my backing my scalloped edge circle. So this is 1 3/8 scalloped edge. It matches with the, obviously the 1 1/4 nicely. And so that is going to pop onto there. And I know it means I've got a gap in here, but that's going to go straight onto our note card. So you won't see it anyway. So what you could do, if you're being particularly frugal and you don't want to waste any, is you could punch a few of these. Okay, so you've got them stored somewhere. Just make sure you don't punch right the way through to the next one, and make sure you've left enough of a gap at the side. Otherwise, when you pop that on, you'll be able to see the edge. So can you see I've got that nicely in the center of that panel. So that is going to sit on there, and then I'm going to pop that up. So these are tuck away safely. So I'm just going to use some snail to pop that together. So I always put the snail or the glue on the smaller piece of paper, just so you don't go over the edge and end up with some glue showing. Okay, I'm going to pop that on, just centre that, if you can see that fairly clearly. As I say, I think I do need some more ink in my Lemon Lime Twist ink pad. So just watch out, there's a little bit of snail putting through there. So what I'm going to do is put that straight onto my note card, which I've got here. So we sell these note cards in envelopes as a pack of 20. So they're so useful. They're thick whisper white, perfect for stamping on as is. And they come obviously cut and scored. And I've just folded that over. So I'm going to pop that on there. And again, I'm going to just use snail, but you could use your glue of choice. This is good card for coffee and card, because what I got the ladies to do was choose their colours, stamp with the largest stamp, and then pass it on to the next person. And then so the stamps basically work their way down the line. So there's my background. I'm going to pop this on here. So I tend to put this layer on with snail, and then if I can see my dimensionals, I will add those. So I'm going to pop that onto there, like so. and then pop a dimensional behind that, or 2 even. Actually, I will put 2 on there, like so. Hi to you, Jen, just spotted your comment there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that, I think I'm going to put that there, but the nice thing about this design is that you could turn it round that way, okay, or whichever way you wanted to make the most of the design. I think I'm going to pop that there. Now I've designed this really for a man, so I'm not going to add any extra bling, but you could add sequins or dots, especially a little sequins or something, or some bling right in the centre of those. And what Barbara did this morning, which was very clever, was she actually took the scallop punch, this 1 3/8 punch, and punched out this design here. So she punched that onto some scrap paper, punched it out, and then raised it up, so it has a really nice effect to that. Now obviously one of the things we like to do is decorate our envelopes, so we can take our envelope here, and these are the ones that come with the note cards, and obviously just recreate a little bit on the bottom. So I'm just going to ink up the blueberry bushel again, just pop that on the corner, and then add a little bit of the grey, like so and so. It's such a fine stamp. I like the fact that it is red rubber, because you get that really nice effect, really fine detail on there. And this would also be nice if you embossed it, heat embossed it as well. So there's our envelope, and there's our card. So that was the first design that we did. So something completely different is using our marker pens on the inks. Now you could do this actually with the doilies as well. It would just take you a little bit longer. So let me show you. So we're going to recreate this card, which again comes from the same stamp set, slightly bizarrely, but it does. So I'm going to do my ones in blues, so I'll just leave that there on the side. Now you can do it portrait, or you can do it landscape. So this one obviously is portrait. I'm just going to do one in landscape as a something slightly different. So I can move that out of the way. So we're going to take 2 marker pens. So I've chosen some blue. So I've got Balmy Blue and Granny Apple Green. And these pens come in various packs. So you can buy them as a pack of 5 here, for example. And those are £11.75 for all 5. Or you can buy them as a pack of 10. And if I'll just show you on here, you can buy a complete suite of colours. So this is our colour chart, and we have neutrals, brights, subtles and regals. So you can buy the marker pens in a complete set if you wish, or there are 2 sets of ink colours which are sets of 5. So the whole set there is £27.50, so that's effectively £2.75 per pen. As I said, you do get the dual tips. So you get a wide tip, which you can see by this band here, and then you get a narrow tip, and there's also a little diagram here and here. So you can buy them in sets, and sometimes in some of the smaller catalogues you can buy them in sets of 2, but normally they come in as a complete set. So your choice on how you do those. It's not available in these 3 here. Okay. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to take our stamp, which I've already put the sticker on and loaded onto my acrylic block, and we're going to take the brush end, as you can see there, and I'm just going to fill in the flower. So this is Balmy Blue, and I'm just literally brushing across the end of the flower there. And then I'm going to add my Granny Apple Green and just let that go down on the leaves and the stalk, hoping you can see that okay. Don't have to be too precise, it is a flower after all. Nature's not exact, is it? That's what I keep telling myself. Okay, so that's that there. And just to make sure it's nice and moist before you come to stamp it, I'm just going to huff with my breath, and then I'm going to pop my stamp onto there. So nice gentle pressure, but steady pressure, no rocking. Okay, and there you can see the stamped image. So I'm going to do another one. This time I'm actually going to add a little bit more blue. I don't have to clean the stamp because I'm using approximately the same colours. So there's my blue, and then I'm going to add my granny apple green. Just let that run down there. A little bit in the stalk. And now I'm just going to add a little more blue, so I'm going to take my blueberry bushel from this set here. So these are the in colours for 2018-2020. I'm just going to add a little of detail with the dark blue. Just going to add a little bit in the centres of the flowers at the base and possibly at the tip. I don't know, we'll see how that comes out. Okay, so same thing, just going to huff there, pop that image on. Okay, so now you can see where I've added that little bit of blue. I hope it's focusing on that. Just gives a little bit more detail. And if you want to, because there is still some ink on there, you can huff on the stamp again to moisten it a little bit more and just re-stamp, and you'll get a lighter image like so, like that. Okay, so this is a really good one to use obviously with the pens. You could do it with inks, and if you had the inks, then what you would do is ink up this section first and then ink up the flowers at the top. It'd be a little bit more tricky to get the green in the stalks if you had different coloured flowers, but not impossible to do. So here's my design there. I'm just going to add another sentiment on like I had before, if I can find my piece of paper. So I'm just going to use the same sentiment just for you, but I am going to clean it in the meantime. And I think I'm going to do the blueberry bushel. So you can use obviously the pens on the sentiments. This is very useful if you don't want the whole sentiment. So if you just wanted For You on its own, I could use my pen to ink this up and omit the just. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just going to pop that on there. And the nice thing about using a circle punch is it doesn't matter whether that's straight or not. Let me just clean that off and then just show you that you could, if you wish, just highlight For You. Just being very careful. So obviously this doesn't really change the sentiment, but sometimes you don't necessarily want all of the message. Okay, so I'm just going to try that one there. Hi Scylla. So there's Just For You, and then For You I've done using the pens but just omitting to colour in that part of the stamp there. So the pens are very useful. They can be refilled. They take the same ink refills as the ink pads do. So there's no reason why you can't have the pen and keep it a long time. Just make sure you buy the refill, ideally at the similar time to the ink pad or the pen, so that you've got the matching colours, because if the colours change then the refills go out of stock very quickly, so I'll just warn you of that. So let me just punch that one out. So I'm just going to use the same one. So I'm going to use the For You this time, just as a change, as my others also just for you. So there's my For You, and I'm going to do the same as I did with the other one, which is use this for my backing. So I'm going to punch out a circle, a scallop circle, and punch out a couple for my, that's a bit close there, isn't it? That might be a bit close too, so I'm going to leave those. So I have got a spare one, and I'm going to pop that onto there. So that's the Balmy Blue, and then do exactly the same with this as I did before. So I'm just going to use some snail for that layer. I do like to use quite a close glue for the top layer, just so it doesn't wobble around too much. And then I use dimensionals on the back of that. I can find them. So I've got 2 here. There we are. Just take those 2 off. And I'm going to pop this onto my back layer again with snail. There we go. So again, just make sure when you're punching out you don't get too close to the edge. Pop that roughly in the centre, like so. There's my spare one. And then here's my sentiment. Might send this to my mum actually. She's very fond of gardening. And what I have done earlier is just tied a little bow using one of the celebration ribbons that we had. Sorry, they're no longer available. So I made a little bow and popped a little glue dot on it, and I'm just going to pop that here at the bottom, like so. And then that is going to go onto our note card in the same way. And again, I'm going to use snail. Just one along each side, and if I've missed a bit, just a gap in there. Once snail is stuck, if it's card on card, flat, it's absolutely permanent. But it does give you a little bit of time to lift it and put it down. So there's my finished card. And to match it, I'm going to do the same with the envelope as I did with the other. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of the flowers here. So obviously I'll re-ink these now. I will just clean that top off because it's got the darker blue on it. So again, marker pen, find the thick side, ink in the flowers. Doesn't really matter what order you do those, other than if you're using light and dark on the same area, always do the darker one second so you don't contaminate the lighter colour marker pen or ink. And then I'm just going to use that Granny Apple Green on there. I don't need to go very far actually because I'm only going to use the very tops of that. A bit of a huff. And here's my envelope, make sure I've got it the right way around. And I'm just going to do that there, like so. So that's my completed card. So there's the one that I've just done now. Hi Suzette, lovely to see you. And hi Lynn. So that's the one with the flower. And this is the one earlier that I did here. So similar colours really, aren't there? And the envelope to match. So there's that one and that one there. And just to show you some of the others that I made, I can always tell when I've got a good stamp set because I end up with loads of sample because they're so quick and easy to make. So let me run you through those. So here's one with the lavender colour. Here's one with rich raspberry and a different backing. Hi Helen. Here's a blue one that's waiting for a card. And this was one in process this morning that I did at Coffee and Card, so I didn't finish it because I was playing with other bits and pieces. But I just thought the pinks would be really nice for a girl's card, as long as they like pink. Not everybody likes pink, do they? And then some blues and grey granite, a complete mix, melon mambo and Bermuda Bay. Blues and early espresso for that one, and blueberry bushel, grey granite, and that looks like daffodil delight by the looks of it. So I did have one other sample which I can't now find, which was using the doilies but on the Stamparatus to make a concentric pattern. That was really pretty. If I can dig it out and post it on my Facebook page, I will do that. So just to remind you, this was the stamp set we used. Dear Doily. Hi Helen, and thank you Sandra. So as I say, quite an interesting mix. So you've got these three sort of doily elements, this lovely plant, really useful, and then obviously some nice little sentiments. So I used the Just For You, and I also did the omitting with the stamp to get For You that you can just see on there. And the Dear Doily set is, from memory, £22 in the red rubber, so it's a really useful set. And as I say, it does come with matching framelits that you can use with it, but equally it works on its own, and the framelits work on their own. Now I found that card I was looking for, so I'll just show you that and then I'll leave you to your evening. So let me clear these out of the way and show you this one here. So this was done with the Stamparatus, and all I did literally was stamp one in the centre and then stamped this one and just kept rotating the card so that those were in the same position every time. And round. Okay, so quite a different look compared to, oh look, it shows the similar colours, look, but you know, just a different version really. So I hope that's been useful. I will plan to do coffee and card session like this, an update every Monday, so you should be able to catch me about 5:30 and hopefully catch me on replay as well. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. If you've got any questions, you can leave a message here on my Facebook page. If you want to order anything, which is always welcome, or you want to join my team, as such a good joining offer at the minute, then this is my details here. So I'm Jenny McCormack, the company name is Gemini Crafts, and you can find me online on Facebook. Just look for Gemini Crafts. Okay, thanks ever so much everybody, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.